Tommy Robinson says a lot of things that a lot of people agree with. Politicians that are covering up for this or not saying this are up to their necks in it.
Five-man mob is not bad.
Mob? What kind of language is that, mob? We're a parliamentary party. He talks about making his country great again. He talks about controlling his borders. He talks about putting American people first, despite all these idiots saying he's a nutter. He's not, he's a clever man.
What do you think about the Tommy Robinson stuff? Because, I mean, obviously that was one of the points where...
He doesn't even want to join Reform UK. He's made that quite clear. He doesn't want to join Reform, but he doesn't want to join. He's in prison. I mean our membership's, what, 170,000 now? We've got 1,500 council candidates ready for local elections. We've got donors coming in. I mean, we're doing all right.
Yeah.
We're doing all right. The other parties would wish they had our momentum.
And I guess like one of the most richest, powerful people talking about your five-man mob is not bad.
Mob? What kind of language is that, mob? We're a parliamentary party.
You're going to cancel me for it?
Well, when you look at the newspapers every single day, if you're into politics, if you're in that bubble, it's Reform that's on the front every day, Reform UK with 5 members of Parliament. It's not the Lib Dems with 72, it's not the Greens with 5 MPs, it's not the SNPs, it's not even the Conservative Party, it's us.
Yeah.
We're making all the noise.
What do you call yourself then if you're not a mob? What would you...
The official opposition.
The official opposition.
There you go.
On that, Robinson, do you think that there is a case that he's done a decent job in terms of raising awareness about...
Tommy Robinson says a lot of things that a lot of people agree with, and on the grooming gangs, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff in there I agree with him on. He's highlighted some stuff. But anybody would agree with, I think. I mean, this rape scandal has been going on not just a few years, it's left a dark stain.
There's this sort of woke ideology that like you can't say, you've got to be careful about things that you say.
No, you haven't got to be careful. They're Pakistani Muslim rape gangs. It's as simple as that. It's plain English. And politicians that are covering up for this or not saying this are up to their necks in it. They're covering up. We know that, it's going to come out eventually. It's going to be a Netflix series. We know this, don't we? You've got council officials, social workers, police, politicians, who's all know stuff that's covered it up. And I can't wait for the day when they're all exposed and locked up.
What do you make of the States and like the stuff that's going over there? Do you think that lines up with some of the stuff that we're seeing over here?
Probably, yeah. I'm glad Trump won. I think the voters that voted for Trump have got a lot in common with people in the Red Wall in places like this. I think if Trump stood in Ashfield, he'd win. Yeah. As simple as it. In the Red Wall, he'd win. And
why?
Because he speaks to working people. He talks about making his country great again. He talks about controlling his borders. He talks about putting American people first. He talks about giving coal miners the jobs back and steel workers the jobs back. And he does that, and there's no wars when he was in, we keep saying he's a warmonger. It was quite the opposite. And he's strong. Yeah, he is confrontational, but he's strong. And for a country like that, you need a strong leader. Yeah. And you need someone who's going to stick up for you and not, bend down to these other countries. That's what we want.
And do you reckon something similar could happen at the next election?
Yeah, because we're always a few years behind America, aren't we, I suppose? Not in culture, we've got much better culture than them, but in politics and innovation and in industry, we're normally a little bit behind. He has a good 4 years, which I think he will, and people, especially in places like this, are going to be looking, thinking, he's doing all right, despite all these idiots saying he's a nutter. He's not, he's a clever man. Yeah. A very clever man.